Since the discovery of their role in cell metabolism and energy generation in the mid-20th century, mitochondria have been colloquially known as the powerhouses of the cell. Mitochondria are small compartments, or organelles, that reside in all of our cells and act as tiny biological furnaces, consuming the molecules that make up the food we eat and oxidizing them to give us more than 90% of the energy we use every day. Made up of more than 100 proteins, the mitochondria are the single most advanced organelle in the cell. They even have their own DNA. The mitochondrial energy-generating machinery is essential for life, something that became apparent to medical researchers when they were studied in cases of infants born with heart and brain dysfunctions during the last 40 years of modern medicine. It is estimated that every 1 in 5,000 children born has a mitochondrial disorder. One such child, born in the late 2000s to an Australian family, died when he was less than a year old due to a heart defect. Devastated, his parents allowed his genome to be sequenced and his heart tissue to be analyzed. Scientists discovered that the boy's heart tissue had defects in the mitochondrial energy-generating machinery, an indication that he had been afflicted by mitochondrial disease. However, their diagnosis was complicated when his DNA showed only a single gene was mutated, chromosome 1 open reading frame 31, or C1ORF31. This gene encoded a protein whose function was unknown, and the scientists were forced to explain to the parents that their son's death was only probably due to these mutations. The parents left the hospital without closure, unable to fully deal with the mystery of their son's passing, and unsure as to whether or not they should try for another child, since the same thing might happen again. In an effort to answer the question of C1ORF31's role in the death of this young boy, researchers at Texas A&M began studying the gene in 2012, and after a year and a half of work had exciting news to share. Not only had they figured out why mutations in C1ORF31 resulted in a broken mitochondria, they just might be able to offer the parents a treatment to prevent their next child from developing heart disease. The scientists were able to show that C1ORF31 is instrumental in delivering tiny atoms of copper, the same metal present in pennies and the Statue of Liberty, to the energy-generating machinery of the mitochondria, where it is used in chemical reactions. The scientists also demonstrated that the two mutations in C1ORF31 in the young boy prevented the protein from accomplishing its job, and found out that, astonishingly, when they disrupted C1ORF31 in the mitochondria of yeast and zebrafish, feeding these organisms very small doses of copper could actually restore mitochondrial function. While this discovery held exciting implications for mitochondrial biology, it also gave the researchers hope that the parents could have another child, and even if that child had the same mutation as his or her older brother, as long as the mother took pills containing low doses of copper during her pregnancy, and the child continued to take the same medication after birth, he or she could live a happy and healthy life. The story of C1ORF31 is just one story, and there are dozens of more genes that are predicted to be linked to clinical cases of mitochondrial disease. Research into the finer details of mitochondrial biology, like the studies performed by the Texas A&M scientists, can help bridge the gap between a mutation in a mystery gene and a treatment for a patient, whether they present with heart disease, Parkinson's, diabetes, or cancer. As the field of mitochondrial biology grows, medicine grows as well, and every person can do their part to help, even if they aren't mitochondrial biologists. Non-profit organizations like the March of Dimes Foundation use donations they receive to fund scientists studying mitochondrial diseases in infants, and increased awareness about the prevalence of mitochondrial disease can help mothers and fathers everywhere recognize the signs and symptoms of a mitochondrial disorder and get their child diagnosed before it is too late. It may take years before our understanding of mitochondrial disease is complete, but we can all fight the good fight in our own way, and together give children everywhere a fighting chance.